Hello friends, I just finished this painting of the sun setting over the ocean, and I think it would make a great journal background to pair with a special verse. So I'm going to share my process with you just in case you want to give it a try. I'm going to draw a horizon line about 2/3 down the page lightly with a pencil. You may know about the rule of thirds that suggests it's the most pleasing to the eye to have your focus point in one of the areas where the 1/3 horizontal and 1/3 vertical sections cross. I'm cleaning off leftover paint from my last project. I always leave it until I run out of space, just in case I need to use it for the next project. A little water and I can reactivate it and use up what's left. I want to get all the paint I'll need for the next project, especially for the sky. I want to get it ready so that I can work quickly and avoid hard edges that dry too soon, because that paint drying in areas before I'm ready just creates, you can see the breaks, and we don't have those in skies, so we can't have that. Watercolor also dries lighter than it looks, and I'll add water as I go, so I'm letting the paint remain pretty saturated. I decided to create a darker blue sky at the top of the page, at that farthest area from the setting sun, and fill it with some early evening stars using masking fluid, which is a rubbery liquid that dries quickly, and you can paint right over it to reserve the white spaces underneath. Once everything's completely dry, you just rub it off. I don't want a solid line of stars though, so I'm ripping tissues into jagged edges to protect the bottom of the painting from my splatters and create a safe area there for the stars. I'm going to use an old toothbrush to flick the masking fluid over the area. It dries really quickly, so I'll put the toothbrush in water right away. Otherwise it'll be all gummed up and ready for the trash. I'm using a large clipboard to support the paper in an angle so that the gravity can help pull the paint down and prevent it from pooling as I paint a wash of watered down Payne's gray paint, which is kind of a bluish gray. And this will be the initial base layer for the ocean foreground. It'll be the lightest area of the sea. While the paint's still wet, I'll dab off an area where the sunlight's going to be the strongest and reflect it in the water. Now I'm going to turn the page upside down, and while the ocean area dries, I'm going to work on painting the sky. I'll paint the lightest yellow first and try to avoid mixing it with the blue sky, because blue and yellow will make green, which we don't want in a sky. But if it happens, I can neutralize the green with a little pink, which is opposite the green on the color wheel, so it'll tone it down into a neutral color. And then I continued building in some color with strokes of yellow, gold, and alizarin crimson. I came in with a darker Payne's gray in the sky, painting over the masking fluid. And because I painted that blue right into the yellow, I'll have to work with some pink to tone it down later. I see some green emerging in the sky. I want to bring the dark sky down some more, so I'm going to add some strokes of blue and of course some pink to follow to neutralize the green. I'm also adding more color to the sky and some darkening clouds that are within the sun's glow. And isn't it amazing how the light of the sun shines through just by kind of dabbing off that paint and keeping the contrast high in that area? My paint strokes for the sky extended past the horizon line, so I'm picking them up a little bit, but they will be covered anyway with the darker horizon line that I'll be painting in that area. I'm softening the horizon line and blending it into the ocean by dipping my brush into clean water and stroking it along the edge of the horizon line. I just want to be careful not to distribute a lot of water in that area, so make sure your brush isn't too heavy with water at this point. That gets rid of the harsh line in the water and blends it gradually into the sea. I also began adding layers of darker lines in the water to represent swells and waves. And when doing that, the size of and the details of the swells should be greater the closer they get to shore. So the background should be more of a just kind of blend in swells, and then you'll be able to see them more distinctly as they get closer. We know that as far as perspective, things in the distance are generally less defined. They're lighter or faded and smaller than things that are in the foreground. They come with larger size and more definition, more details. I painted a bit of light yellow where the sun is reflected on the water and darkened the sky a little bit more, so it looks more like the beginning of a starlit night. And to connect the darker sky with the colorful sunset, I also darkened some of the shadows of clouds, created more of a cloud look there. I also debated about putting a sailboat on the ocean or on the horizon, or even a bit of land in the foreground with maybe a palm tree or something extending into the foreground, but I decided to keep it simple instead, with just a little bit of jutting land that was extending out into the sea. Lastly, I'm going to add some light to the bottom of the clouds and make the top of them a little darker since they're farther away from that setting sun. And I think that's about it. I just finished journaling through the creation story in Genesis, and this could have been a wonderful background in my journal for the beginning of Genesis 2, which reads, "Thus the heavens and the earth were completed in all their vast array. By the seventh day, God had finished the work he had been doing, so on the seventh day he rested from all his work. Then God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, because on it he rested from all the work of creating that he had done." Beautiful. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you have some delightful time in the Word of God today. God bless you.